Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries. War. What is it good for? Cinema. We're talking about today about Saving Private Ryan. I'm here with Lon and Danielle. We are not in the studio because what's going on, Ryan? It's all broken. Something happened.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It's a whole thing, and I'm going on vacation. We'll fix it.
Wait, are we not in the studio because you're going on vacation? Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
I think we
No,
all know.
you're in the office. Are you? Is that the office that you're at,
Yes,
Spencer?
I'm currently in an
Go
office.
show the faulty light grid. I will show on air the issues.
Oh no.
I don't feel like getting up, but I will do that later. We're going to talk about Saving Private Ryan today, watch the trailer together, show you some outtakes, give you a clue for next week's Honest Trailer, and answer your questions. So keep those coming in the chat. I'm sure among those questions will be, why did you do this? And the answer is, we're looking at what to do this week. Fablemans is out. Started looking at Spielberg's filmography. What haven't we done from Spielberg? And I just wanted to watch this movie. So,
It's been one, I feel like, since I came on board many years ago now as an Honest Trailer writer. This one's always been like out there. It comes up from time to time where it's like, should we do, because it's such an iconic, memorable movie. People love it. But we've always kind of felt like, well, it's hard to sort of be goofy about it because it's so serious, it's so dark.
And I found that to still be the case, but the other choice was Schindler's List. So here we are.
Easier this one than Schindler's List.
When is The Day the Clown Cried gonna come out? That gets like released in the 2030s, I think.
2030s or something, 40, early 40s, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if Honest Trailers is still going, we'll do Schindler's List for the release of that.
We just do that. I'm just curious to just watch The Day the Clown Cried.
Yeah, look it up. Don't know what we're talking about. Saving Private Ryan, a really, really good war film. I mean, my God, it goes without saying, those first 20, 30 minutes are like some of the best. And by best, I mean like most convincing and cinematic ways to bring you into the boots on the ground, the Normandy landings and stuff like that. After that, I don't know, it gets a little picaresque, a little episodic. Let a little bit like different levels of a Call of Duty game after that. But what was your overall opinion of Saving Private Ryan, Lon, and Danielle?
I like it. I love the opening. I think that the war scenes are very powerful, have a ton of impact. Like, it's best when people aren't really talking. Like when it's dialogue light and it's action and it's that immersive, like Spielberg putting you in the shoes of a guy who's on the battlefield, and like that's where it's at its strongest. And I think for people around my age, this sort of is this is when I picture World War II, this is what I'm picturing. Like, this kind of informed my whole sense of what would it have been like to be in at least the European theater of World War II. So all that great. When the people start talking, it starts to lose me. It's very tropey. It's a little stereotypical. It's a little cliche whenever it's just the character interactions. I do think that Matt Damon, when he tells the story about his brothers, which was largely improvised, that sequence, it's pretty good. Damon does a really good job there. But I don't know. Like a lot of the Ed Burns stuff, it feels a little tropey and hokey to me in comparison to all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Like this and like Band of Brothers is like definitely like what you think of, at least for me, when you imagine this. Yeah, those first, that first half an hour is rough. And like really like hard to watch. But I don't know. I like the tropiness of it. Like sometimes I'm like, look, if you're gonna do it, just like go all the way in. Like, I was about to make a callback to a conversation that we had before we went on air. Just wade into the marsh. But like, if you're gonna do it, like
eagle-eyed viewers will know what marsh movie we were discussing.
We're talking about Where the Crawdads Sing before this.
I just watched the Crawdad movie.
Know how to Where the Crawdads Sing. And so yeah, like just get tropey with it. And I do think I wish that there was a classification, and we do talk about this a little bit, for this like generation of actors, like the way that they had the Brat Pack in like the 80s, because there definitely is like, this is, you know, that generation. All they're missing is an Affleck, you know?
Yeah.
And so
like
an Affleck in here somewhere,
yeah, you could have thrown him somewhere. He's probably doing Mallrats or something. But like, so it's you know, they're all very charming, and obviously that's what makes you like them, like before they all start getting murdered, and like that's why the talking is important. But it's also like, I felt just as bad for all of the screaming guts out guys on the beach too, and we didn't really hear them talk either, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what like Adam Goldberg's got this incredibly moving, troubling death scene where a German soldier just very slowly pushes a dagger or bayonet into his chest, and it's so the way Spielberg shoots it and the intimacy of that sequence. I don't really even know if it mattered if we heard that guy make a few snarky comments to the German soldiers before. Like it has that power just because of such a powerful image.
Oh my God, yeah, that moment where he's like, "Hey, let's just like talk this through," and it's like, nope, it's knife time.
Too late.
Well, I will say that if you love incredibly disturbing war movies whose images will never leave you, check out Come and See.
Wow,
it's a Russian film. If you're into that side of Saving Private Ryan, that's my favorite war movie, as in like, I never want to go to war.
I saw a guy on Twitter who was saying that Wakanda Forever, which I have not seen yet, but apparently Wakanda Forever includes a visual reference to Come and See, and it was like, Coogler, wow, we're really going for it.
Yeah.
Probably also, like, the Marvel Studios' first reference to Soviet war film Come and See, I would say.
I haven't seen the new All Quiet on the Western Front, but I've heard that that's also really like upsetting.
I imagine,
because the original's upsetting. So
World War I is underutilized as far as how horrible and shitty it would have been to live through, and like such a massive scope that's probably not worth it to studios to really try to capture on camera, because you're just like dying slowly in a shell hole of diphtheria or something. Except for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman nailed it. Let's watch our honest trailer for Saving Private Ryan.
And the King's Man. Who could forget the King's Man?
No Kingsman slander from us.
King's Man.
From Steven Spielberg, director of films about the Holocaust and Japanese internment camps, but also the fun side of World War II.
Don't you dare fire that gun in this house!
I don't hate this.
Comes another
kind of supposed
one
to
about
hate
his
this
favorite
movie.
real war
It's
with
got
a fake story about a real policy and fake characters asking if they really have to do this.
Where's the sense of risking the lives of the 8 of us to save one guy?
It's not going to be easy finding one particular soldier in the middle of this whole goddamn war.
This entire mission is a serious misallocation of valuable military resources.
This Ryan better be worth it.
I understand what you're doing. You do?
Saving Private Ryan.
So pause. It's interesting that just doing a little bit of research about this stuff is that the sole survivor policy that this movie, that was like the germ of the idea, that, and there was just like a group of 4 brothers that all died, and it was like very sad. But which created the sole survivor policy, which is if you have a sibling, and like if your sibling dies and you're like the last surviving member of your family, of that generation in your family, you are pulled out of combat. But they would just send a radio signal, or they'd just like send they'd send you something in the mail.
Like, you can go home now. They didn't send a whole troop of guys after you.
Right. But I guess, in this story that he had been, stuck in a tree branch somewhere, his parachute got sent the wrong way, and all of his radio was broken, and he never bothered phoning back or whatever. The story was contrived, but it is based on the kernel of a real thing that they would do, which is like, all of your brothers are dead. You're pulled out of harm's way.
Yeah, you're like the last of your bloodline, or like whatever.
Yeah, real Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We can't leave Harrenhal without an heir.
Yeah. there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. So you're recommissioned to kitchen duty or whatever. So interesting stuff.
Send him to the wall.
Keep going.
Return to a time when punching Nazis wasn't controversial, and witness the reason your grandpa doesn't talk very much. That's a realistic look at the sacrifice of the troops on the ground and the armchair generals who send them off to die for extremely dumb reasons.
We go sending some sort of rescue mission. They're going to be KIA too.
We are going to send somebody to find him.
In this search and rescue mission, where an entire squad lays down their lives, so Matt Damon's mom can be 1/4 less sad. No one Damon's worth 8 other guys. Besides, we got a spare.
Yeah, pause. We didn't really get into the futility of and pointlessness of the mission because, well, I don't know if I can't tell what the movie is trying to say, frankly, about it, because at the end they get to Damon, they decide to stay to defend the bridge, right? And they're like, you know what, saving Private Ryan might not have meant anything, but maybe it led to this, which is really going to mean something. But then it seemed like in the end, I couldn't tell. It was like, did it matter that they were there to hold the bridge at all? Because it seemed like, unbeknownst to them, the cavalry was coming regardless. Right. So it didn't matter if they sacrificed their lives or not.
I think the book, like, I think this is why I don't like the bookends. I think it's cheesy, and I would have done the movie without. I don't think you need old Matt Damon at the cemetery. But I think the reason Spielberg put that in there is to speak to this. I think what he's saying is the missions themselves were not, like, to us at home, to the generals, the missions matter, but to the guys on the ground, if you were a soldier, what mattered was surviving. The guys around you, your troops, your group, like that was what became the Band of Brothers theme. Like that's what mattered. And so it wasn't that Damon was like, I got to stay here and hold this bridge. It was, I got to stay here and help these guys. These are my guys. Just like Tom Hanks and his group felt that solidarity, you know, that they were all going to work for each other to defend one another. And so I think that's what it's trying to say. It's like the mission may be pointless or whatever. We'll never take that hill. That gun's just going to end up over here. If we let that soldier go, he's just going to end up back with the, you know, like all of that stuff is about how the combat stuff is kind of pointless, but it's not ultimately pointless because you're laying down your life for the guy next to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's my read on it anyway.
A common theme that obviously that in Band of Brothers and stuff like that, and comes up when you talk to veterans. My grandpa was a World War II veteran in the Pacific, and like the very few occasions where he talks about it, it's just like, yeah, I was like carrying a guy back on a stretcher, and then there's some machine gun fire, and like everybody around me dropped dead, and then we just put the stretcher down and kept running. It's like, or like just so many times when just seemingly random times when everybody would be dead around you. And it just sounds horrifying.
Not great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did not have to do it. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's the pits.
I flirted with the idea of joining the military for like school stuff, and my father or my dad, who was at that point in the military, was like, "If you do that, I will lock you in your room. Like you will not be allowed to leave my home."
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was never into it. I was in high school when we were like first blowing up Iraq. Also, it was already like, I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
that looks awful. You're in like the dirt all day and oil is on fire next to you. It did not look appealing.
I just remember the commercials being like you get to climb a cool mountain and like pull out a sword, and then like the sword would catch on fire.
Yep.
They used to be very
the Excalibur thing.
The Marines in their ads used to really emphasize the sword. Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, that is a really cool part of the uniform, is that you get a sword.
Yeah, they were very big into the sword. Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, if
What's
I could
sword? Nothing.
Study the blade. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Imagine if like Best Buy, like Nerd Geek or whatever, uniforms also came with a sword. Like other jobs with uniforms and all that come with them.
Yeah, a ceremonial comedy writing katana.
Yes.
I'm into it.
I'd hike a mountain for a comedy sword.
That's my SAG sword. It shows that I paid my dues.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
For some of the most punishing battle scenes of all time. That opens with the meat grinder that was D-Day. continues an unflinching mix of the History Channel and Mortal Kombat fatalities. Featuring more nervous-looking dudes than the waiting room at a vasectomy clinic. And more grown men sobbing than at the end of Terminator 2. This film is intense. Can we lighten it up a bit? You look for a film that honors the troops and the tropes with standard issue characters like tough guy from Brooklyn.
I'm done with this mission.
Religious southerner.
God gave me a special gift, made me a fine instrument of warfare.
Wisecracking Jew.
Your father was circumcised by my rabbi, you prick!
Anxious rookie. Famous actor cameo. And in a visionary piece of casting, Vin Diesel as an Italian guy with a crucifix necklace who cares deeply about family.
Capuzzo, get the kid back up there! I can't, she reminds me of my niece, sir!
Ain't no such thing as a master race. And if there was, I would win it.
Race wars.
Pause. Yeah, I mean, has Vin Diesel been in anything else this good? No, right? I mean, good in quotes, but
yes. What was that movie? It was a movie based, a sequel to a movie that was based on a video game. Where like
Pacifier, I believe is the movie.
No. I'm looking this up. This is real because this movie was
Based
actually
on a video.
Triple X3?
Babylon
No.
AD?
No.
Riddick.
No, that's not a video game. That's just Pitch Black.
Oh, Iron Giant?
Oh, isn't Iron Giant is good? Yes.
Yeah.
Pitch Black, I believe, is just David Twohy wrote it.
Oh, I thought that was based on a video game. I might have been thinking about that because I was selling video games, and
I might be
we
wrong,
used to sell the video game.
They
adaptation
turned
of that.
the Chronicles of Riddick became a popular video game.
Yeah,
They turned that into.
I think
a video
that's
game.
it was reverse
I believe
engineered.
that's
That's yeah.
But no, those movies are terrible.
Riddick was.
I mean, I don't think it's this good. Like,
No,
Saving
it's not
Private
like
Ryan.
it's not prestige. I mean,
No.
it wasn't going to win an Oscar, but
I
for
mean,
the
listen,
movies,
I think we all know the answer is Triple X.
3.
Return of Xander Cage.
Yeah, Return of Xander Cage.
Yeah.
So that
But it's
moment when he
interesting-
thought he was too good for Triple X, and then they had Ice Cube pitch hit, and then he came back. He was like, "No, I'm not too good for this paycheck."
I mean, you're saying how this was like the Brat Pack or whatever. This is the Ryan called it the AF Pack, the Affleck generation, and like it was. But I also think like this was the peak for all of those guys too. Like Giovanni Ribisi, Vin Diesel, Ed Burns, I guess, or Adam Goldberg. Like,
Well, Ed Burns went on to like he didn't have a career of acting in blockbusters, but he became, a writer director. Like that's not of some note. Like I think that's acceptable. And Adam Goldberg has had like a long, he's on the Equalizer now. He's had a long and storied career.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
this is
I don't
definitely
think
like
I don't think they qualify for pack status. These guys don't get to be a pack.
No,
They
well,
do.
they
It's
weren't
like
in
a grand opening, grand closing, but
But
it's still
a pack means something specific. It means a bunch of people who were in a bunch of things together. Like the Rat Pack used to make movies together, and the Brat Pack used to make movies. Like they're all in St. Elmo's Fire and the Breakfast Club, and like this wasn't that kind of a group.
There was a little bit of that. There was a little.
Well, yeah,
bit
as
of it.
we're about to say, Boiler Room, which was
Boiler Room, right? That's yes. Okay, you've got me there.
starring the stunning Nia Long.
oh wow.
True.
Okay, let's keep going. We'll talk about
Leading
that when it comes
them
up.
into the depths of hell is America's dad, Tom Hanks. He's one part weapons geek,
Spring mine 44, shoe mine 42s, pot mines, A200s, big mushrooms, telemine 43s.
one part MacGyver,
2 MG42s, 2 mortars.
We could try a sticky bomb.
Sir, are you making that up?
and one part guy ashamed of his liberal arts degree.
Somebody must know where he's from, what he did for a living.
I teach English composition.
Salute this hero who seems almost too good to be true.
He's good.
I love them.
Then realize, wait, if this whole story is Private Ryan's flashback, everything before they meet up is just his imagination. Ryan wasn't there on D-Day. He never even met Waiter Compazzo. He probably just fell asleep watching Boiler Room.
He's definitely.
Well, I don't want to hear it, kid.
Okay.
So pause. Love Boiler Room, by the way, and especially Affleck trying to do his like Glengarry Glen Ross moment. He's in it for one scene and gives the big speech and then bounces.
Did you know? I got it. We got to do it. So Ben Younger, the guy who wrote and directed Boiler Room, he based it on personal experiences working at like a stockbroker company like that. The company that he worked for was Stratton Oakmont, Jordan Belfort's company that became the basis for Wolf of Wall Street. Is that crazy?
It's given us so much.
That's amazing.
That's wild. Boiler Room and Wolf of Wall Street are basically about the same author.
The same.
All right.
Thing.
Well, now I'm doing
crazy.
a double. Now I'm doing a double.
Yeah.
I got to do a double feature. Yeah.
That's amazing. But I don't know. I didn't see any other people pointing that out. Certainly, I think that. Are we crazy, or does Private Ryan have no way of knowing what happened at all until he meets?
Yeah. Other people definitely pointed this out when the movie came out, like because it's like a fake out. You know, he obviously wants you to think in the beginning that it's Hanks.
That's Tom Hanks, yeah.
Right, and so it's like he gets away with his little twist, his weird twist, but to do it, you've got to sacrifice the logic of it being a flashback because Matt Damon can't flashback to. He was in a parachute. He wasn't there on the beach at D-Day. He wouldn't.
He doesn't know because he meets these characters like, I guess he could have told them about what happened.
But they don't.
We see the point, but they don't.
See it. Like, we see what he wasn't like. Let me tell you everything. Let me bring you up to speed. So we went to Newville. Paul Giamatti was there. Like that's that. You wouldn't have met Paul Giamatti.
I mean, I would tell people if I met Paul Giamatti. On a French battlefield or otherwise.
Yeah.
He broke a building, you know?
My other favorite example of this is $1 Million Baby, which ends with the reveal that the whole movie was a letter that Morgan Freeman is writing and sending to Clint Eastwood's daughter.
Yeah.
That he felt the need to include a subplot about himself in. Imagine writing to some guy's daughter and be like, let me tell you about your old man. Also, I was up to some interesting stuff during this time. Maybe you'd like to hear about it. It doesn't relate directly, but thematically, there's a lot of back and forth.
Oh, man. That was a long, sad movie, too. I haven't seen that since it came out.
That's a one watcher. Not because it's not good, but because I only need to see it like one
time.
Right.
It's just grim.
Like Amistad. I don't need to see that twice.
Is it part of the Boss Baby universe, or is it just a coincidence?
Or
is it is now. It is now.
It's kind of a DC thing. They haven't decided yet, but I think soon they're gonna solidify which is which.
James Gunn will let us know on Twitter.
Yes, he's in charge now.
Is the $1 Million Baby a boss baby or not? Yeah. All right, just trying to check. All right, keep going.
So revisit one of the greatest, most accurate war films ever made that's come to define the conflict for generations until the Call of Duty franchise came along. And honestly, this movie proves COD got it mostly right too. The chat is full of bro talk.
You're going home wrapped in American flag with a hunk of cheese in your ass, Caparzo, you smart ass. I thought you liked it in the ass.
The teamwork is non-existent.
Maybe I should go left, sir.
Maybe you should shut up.
And if you kill enough of the other side without dying, you get to call in an epic kill streak. Come on, that's so OP. They have to nerf those planes in World War III. Starring, look at me, I'm the captain now. The Dirt Locker. Brooklyn Wine. Jackson 316 says I just shot your ass. Fubar Mitzvah. I don't got a squad. I got family. What's up, Ham? Giovanni Riblizzi. Bland of Brothers. Malone in the Dark. Army of One. And Paul Gianazzi.
Let me get this hitchhiker out of my boot.
So pause. A brief movie fight. I'm going to pit the two of you against each other. Is Paul Giamatti or Wallace Shawn?
Oh, just in general?
Just in general, I guess as actors, because
I gotta go. I gotta go Giamatti on this one.
I'll happily take Wallace Shawn.
All right, you each have 30 seconds.
I just feel like Giamatti's got more range. Like Wallace Shawn, you're putting him. He's gonna be Fazzini from Princess Bride, no matter what. He's having dinner with Andre, no matter what you put that guy in. Whereas Giamatti, he's got a whole range. He could play tough Giamatti. He could play nebbishy, nerdy Giamatti. He could play sad sack Giamatti. Like, I feel like we've seen at least 5 or 6. Like Giamatti could have dinner with Andre, but I don't think Wallace Shawn could put on the rhino armor.
Danielle.
Wallace Shawn, he doesn't just play the same character every time, because sometimes he also plays a teacher in Clueless. And also,
True.
And while I will give it up to you for Giovanni, for his general range, let's go back to, was it John Quincy? Like, what was that? The
John Adams.
The story of John Adams,
Yeah.
where you cannot tell me that he made a convincing John Adams and John Adams.
I don't even know, what was the real John Adams like?
I don't know, but I doubt that.
As far as I know,
and
Paul
I think,
Giamatti.
You know what? I think that Wallace Shawn could have been a better John Adams than Giamatti.
Inconceivable.
Like, John Adams, you're like, he's nothing like John Adams.
I know John Adams, and you, sir, John Adams.
Might have been Giamatti-like John Adams.
Yeah. All right, well, let us know in the chat who you think won, or just who your pick is for sexiest actor.
Of all time. Of all the single
Giamatti
sexiest actor of all time. Is it Giamatti?
Snubbed again by people. Oh, well. All right, that was the end of the trailer? We still got a tag left. Yeah.
National Platoons, European Formation. You know, it's really rare when a film honors the greatest generation and inspires the greatest porn name of a generation. I mean, even Spielberg had to give it props.
Shaving Ryan's privates. Did you know about this?
No, not until this very moment. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a lost art. They just kind of say like The Office, a porn parody.
Right.
Now.
They started doing.
They should have done like The Orifice. Like, try, people. Come on.
Give it some effort. Put your elbow in it.
SEO optimization and keywords have ruined fun titles.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I blame the nerds. I blame analytics. This is everyone's fault.
Yeah, it was SEO. It was like
It was SEO that robbed us of grinding Nemo or whatever.
Just being able to hear that said in the dulcet tones.
Terry Gross.
Steven Spielberg. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad Terry Gross had to say that.
What a gift. What a gift.
The entire interview is just her listing off porn parody titles.
I mean, almost every classic Spielberg film has a few. Like, that was the golden era of the pornographic parody.
Indiana Bones.
Sure.
Come on, let's keep going. I'm sure we can get a few more.
Put me on the spot here.
Maybe Minority Report. Keep it.
Yeah.
That one stays.
Ready, Stepson 1, says Ryan. Oh
wow.
You know those only come up because that's what you've been searching for.
It's a thinker.
Forrest Hump.
Close Encounters of the Furred Kind.
Of the what kind?
Furries. It's a furry. It's a furry. I'm pitching a furry.
Furred kind. Yeah, got it.
E.T., the extratersexual.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Well, again, keep those coming in the chat. Best ones will be mentioned in my dreams. All right, what do we do next? We got some other stuff coming. Outtakes are coming up, deleted scenes. But before that, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and hit the bell. And we're streaming Andor tomorrow. This is like the 2-part finale coming up?
Yeah, it's the penultimate episode of season 1 is this week.
Awesome. So yes, we'll be chatting about that tomorrow. And now let's check out some deleted scenes.
Starring Tom Hanks bombs tanks, teacher's pet, size queen. Tell him Large Sarge sent you. Burns notice. Sniper stop sniping. We brought a Jew. The Italian job. Lost in translator. Physician, heal thyself. Euro trip. Tam nomad.
Euro trip.
Kids on the block. The Bad Place.
Brilliant cameo.
Killians. Tour de France.
Earn this. Earn it.
Wow. Okay. It's kind of a lot of pressure to dump on me right now, dude. How about if I just live a really long time, work some random job at like a bank or something, and then get really into Minions memes? Is that good enough for you?
Yeah, right.
Man,
I
and
hope
that's
Then
the
we
it,
cut
last
to him and
words.
he's just like, you know, he's
Yeah.
like a regular old guy and a windbreaker. It's like, well, I guess he had some kids. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Your last words are just like negging some kid. Like,
Yeah, like I guess like let him off the hook, dude.
He
It
went
wasn't
off
his
petty.
idea.
yeah.
He didn't write to Washington to be like, send me home to see my mommy. Like that wasn't his fault.
right. Yeah, be nice. If you're making a deathbed or whatever request to someone, make it something fun and flirty.
Yeah.
Get really into tropical drink.
Yeah. Just seems
Start
like a
collecting
lot.
trains.
Wear loose fitting pants.
Like, I gotta start a company? Like, what does that mean? Like, jeez.
Volunteer
like
at church
invent
on the
something?
weekends. Yeah.
Doing the best I can, Tom.
Yeah, like how does one life equal? How could it possibly equal like 8 or 10 lot? Like, there's no way. Leave me alone.
Yeah. All right. We got some good questions coming in. Let me bring those up. Benzi10 says, how about doing the Legally Blonde on his trailer? I've never seen them, believe it or not. So I would love to. That sounds like something we'll do.
It's got that the issue that we have a lot, which is that it's a very self-aware movie that is being funny and knows what it is. And so it's a little tough to come in and mock something that is already clever about what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could try. It's a fun, they're fun movies.
Evan J. Pretzer asks, is Spencer about to read a piece for Masterpiece Theater in that chair? If so, great. And if not, I demand to be brought in for a future snooty film on his trailer commentary. Well, this is actually a legacy chair from Roth Cornett, who left this in her office, and then the whole world collapsed, and it got moved to this one, but Roth moved on to another job. So the chair remains. So it's very comfy. I like the feel.
Yeah, I think she left her giant beanbag too, didn't she?
The giant beanbag. Where's the giant beanbag? Yeah, I missed that.
I saw it in the new office. So it's in there.
It's somewhere. I've seen it.
Yeah. Benjamin Abramowitz, if you want a real anti-war movie, why not check out Jarhead? That shows just how boring war actually is. And that's my understanding, is that war is like a lot of waiting around, followed by like brief moments of existential dread and death, and then more waiting around. But that's modern. I mean, every war is different, right? Like Apocalypse Now is like trying to get the flavor of Vietnam, and this is World War II. And these days it is like hanging around at like Restrepo, where you're like hanging around at a checkpoint, and then it's like all hell breaks loose, and then it's quiet again. Scary stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the vibe of some of the modern war is where it is a lot of like you're at this base and then you're kind of waiting, and there's like the daily sort of grind of activities, but then it's really like a few moments of chaos and then a lot of waiting. I guess it was a little different if you were on the ground in like France right after D-Day, because there were a lot of like little things and missions and side trips, and there was a lot of like walking. I don't know. I've never been to a war.
Mark Sheridan writes, Predator is the best war movie. Well, there is a reading of Predator that makes it a Vietnam parable or analogy.
I mean, it is definitely about that, but I don't know if I would call it like a war.
Yeah. Same with Star Wars. Everything was about Vietnam, made from 1970, 69 to whatever. Let's see.
There's a great one called Southern Comfort from 1981 that Walter Hill made. It's about like some National Reserve guys on like exercises, I think in the Everglades, in some kind of marsh. And it also becomes like a Vietnam parable. It's really good. Like Deliverancy, they end up in like a violent clash with like the locals who live in the swamp, and it's good. Anyway.
There's also a good documentary, one like that. You're in the Army Now, I think it's called, with Pauly Shore.
Yes.
It's
classic
actually,
cinema. Classic cinema.
It really takes you there. So Warrior Fellow writes, we'll end with this. Diesel's signature role is Groot because he's a terrible actor, and the Groot role doesn't require saying much.
How dare you? Honestly, how dare you?
I will say his signature role, is Dom Toretto, but for me it's Xander Cage, because that's just Dom Toretto turned up to 11.
I mean, his signature role, I think,
the one is Riddick.
I was going to say is The Last Witch Hunter, because it's actually based on his D&D character. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to play D&D with that man so bad.
Role.
There's really no need to separate the art from the artist with that guy, because he's just playing different flavors of himself in all of these roles as the world's biggest badass. So there you have it.
What shot.
next week's going to be fun. I couldn't believe that we hadn't done this one yet, but it's going to be seasonally appropriate. There might be a little music involved.
It's the only thing that's appropriate about it is the season.
It's the season. Yeah,
literally.
there you go. It's and it's for the children. So that's your clue for next week.
Just like Wu-Tang.
Just like Wu-Tang. This film is for the children. Because when you grow up, oh boy, that's your clue. We can't wait to see you next week. We get to talk about. We'll see you then.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.